So we'll look at three options. The first option we'll look at is the original one. Go to part1.com. You'll need a premium license to do this, which is about $15 a month, and you'll need a little bit of credits to run the models. So once you come into here, you click on AI models, and we can go to extract information from invoices. And here, well, let's just have a look at the pre-built model. We're going to use it in a flow. All right, so the pre-built model has just created this, and let's just save this, and we'll run it. We can just run it here from test. And it's asking us to put in invoice file. I just downloaded a few from Amazon. And so it's going to go and get what it thinks is the key information out, add that into a table. So this here is where you could write it to an Excel file or another database, and then it's going to get my email address and send an email. Okay, so all of these actions will require authentication. Well, certainly when it goes and gets my email, it will need to authenticate using this Office 365 user's account. We have a look here. This was created a while back, so my password would have reset now. So although the status looks connected, it's that's not quite correct. So yeah, I could go. There's another way I could go and just refresh that existing connection, but we'll it's just as quick just to create a new one here. All right, so that's saved. Let's just test this now. So we're just using this manually trigger flow, which is often quite a common way of just when you're beginning to test something. You can always come into part1.com and manually trigger it, but often what you'd have is you might have flows that run on a daily basis. So you schedule them or automated. So for example, when an email arrives. So it's gone and got the information from the invoices. So we can go into that one there, and if you click on each step here, it will give you an overview of the actions that it's done here. So this here is where it's gone and got my Office 365 account. So therefore I'd be able to use my email. And from here, this Office 365 users connection, you can go and get your manager's email address, lots of different options. And then it basically, if we have a look here in the what it created was that HTML table, which is just a pretty way of sending the information. It then adds it into here, and every so I actually did get an email, which is here. So yeah, that pretty much matches what what we ordered there. So you could use this if you're wanting to get all the information from the PDFs, but just have it come in either a slightly different format, or we'll have a look right now at populating a file with this information. Right, to add the information into an Excel file, you can just start to add in here, insert a new step, and this is where you've got lots and lots of options. I just clicked Excel here, and then here I wanted to add a row into a table. What I'd done was created just this file here, ID, date, and total. And then you point to that file, the table name, and you pick the columns you want. And then if we were to test that again, so it'll run, and then what should happen is we'll get to here, and so it's added in the information here. So we can trigger this as well to run on a certain event. So if we look at when an email arrives, and I'm just going to filter it on. So obviously you can say from whether it's from a certain address, and I'll just do the subject filter of invoice, and then I've actually already got this one here already, so I'm just going to forward that. The email that I got sent from the previous test, so actually the subject was called invoice process, so we're just re-forwarding that to me. Just need to I had to do a few corrections there. Just when you use when a new email arrives, it just has this apply to each, and so I just had to. It's basically using the same logic here, and so really then yeah, I just did the test there, and when I got a new email that got arrived with invoice in, it just ran through, it did exactly the same again, sends an email, adds a row into the table. Power Automate also allows you to automate events that you want to happen. So, for example, if say when a row gets added, you want something to happen, then it will allow you to do that. Now, actually, while I was just checking there, you got you can't actually do it for when a row gets added in Excel, because you don't really see Excel as a data source that's stable enough for this. But I don't know if you were to use maybe SharePoint lists or something like that when an item gets added into when an item is created there, it has its own kind of like native database, so it's called Dataverse, and when a row is added there, if you wanted to though get an alert using an Excel file, then you can use scheduled Cloudflow, and you can just run that every once an hour or once a day, and it can then just you again point to your Excel table, and you can then just you can have conditions as well. So you can say, if, for example, if you once you've got that Excel file, you can start then bringing in using the columns in that. So you can like say if invoice is greater than a certain value, you can send an email to certain people, or you can do approvals. So approvals is when you have the a pop-up come up within your MS Teams if you use that. And so, for example, if you only wanted when an action happens, but it needs an approval before something else happens, then you send this approval here, and you can have it here so that when that person then approves it, and when they add their comments, for example, you could have it where the column in the Excel file would then get updated to be approved, and you could have a column called approver comments. Those are comments that are put in the MS Teams approval get written into that. Or you can have it where if you were to have probably within an invoice table, you'd have the invoice due date, but then you'd also have payment dates, and you can have it where if the payment date is more than X days old, then take an action. At the start, I said we'd have a look at 3 different ways. I mean, that way there is, I think it's really good. The pre-built model seemed to work there. When I'd done it beforehand, I'd used this create custom model. Maybe the pre-built model wasn't around then. Perhaps if the pre-built model, or if you had complex invoicing, the pre-built model might not work. But anyway, yeah, there is a way where you just create your own model, where you just take, it asks for 5 of your invoices, so you add them into here, and then you would just highlight the key parts of that invoice, and it creates that model. So that's one way of that was how I used to do it. There we were building it up quite manually, although it was like clicking, and wasn't too hard, to be honest with you. I've got a bit of experience there, so I found it quite easy to do. There are other ways of doing it, a more end-to-end solution.